Welcome back. Welcome back.
Yo, what's up, Ace Gear? Oh my gosh, like all my stuff on Rumble just completely ignored everything I did. I might just end it. Let me end it and restart it and see if that fixes it. I have no idea. It's probably not gonna make any sense to anybody watching on any other platform. Oh well. I love when the tools don't work. How's everybody doing this morning? Happy Monday. Okay. Looks correct. Alright. Everything looks semi-okay. That's what I mean. So the title can't be changed. That's weird. Edvaldo, what's up? Welcome to the stream. That's just on X, though. Anybody wants to watch there? Oops, it didn't work. Okay. Problem solved, I guess. Anyhow. Alright, we got a lot to talk about today. Quite a bit of discussion to be had. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Monday. Let's not hang out there. Let's just jump over to game news. We got quite a bit to talk about. Xbox Halo broke the internet this weekend with the announcement of Halo Campaign Evolved going everywhere. It looks good, but some people aren't happy about it. We'll talk about that. And then suddenly Xbox's strategy all makes sense thanks to a recent discussion and Bloomberg article talking about what Microsoft expects of the Xbox division as a whole. So let's jump into the game news. Guys, welcome in. I've got chat pulled up. Feel free to comment and participate. Leave a like on the video if you haven't already, if the app supports it, and if not, hit the follow button or subscribe button. You should do that no matter what. Yeah, let's just jump in to the first article we've got pulled up. Let's talk about the next Xbox first, because I thought this was interesting, kind of super topical. Microsoft's ambitious new Xbox, your entire Xbox console library, the full power of Windows PC gaming, and no multiplayer paywall. Kind of bold of them to claim. The Xbox platform is said to be a premium experience, and now we have some details on what it'll look like. This was from Jez Gordon literally 5 minutes ago, or a little sooner. Starts off with Xbox is dead. Long live Xbox, as the saying goes. No gaming platform in history has been declared dead as many times as Xbox. Yet, it still does. Microsoft itself earned itself plenty of the condemnation, though, when you put the clickbaitery aside. I mean, it's accurate. Sorry, the music felt a little loud. Owing to a variety of rapid-fire strategy changes, large-scale layoffs, and disappointing price hikes, Microsoft hasn't exactly ingratiated itself to the remaining Xbox faithful as of late. Another wave of Xbox's Doom declarations dropped as Halo was finally announced for PlayStation last week, something we knew was happening for at least a year prior, but there are still reasons to remain optimistic for the future viability of the Xbox ecosystem, even without exclusive games. That's what I've been saying, though. It's not, like, Microsoft just wants people playing games and buying games. They clearly don't care about where, because now they're putting Halo on PlayStation. They don't have the IP strength that Nintendo has. I don't even think PlayStation has like strength in their own IPs like Nintendo has. Nintendo is basically Disney, and there's no competing at that level without a strong catalog of properties and things to do exclusives on. You know, I just don't think it makes sense. I also think Nintendo's exclusivity might end up hurting them in the long run, and we're talking about like the super long run. The Switch 2 will be fine, but maybe the next one might not be. You know, the next hardware might have some changes to it. I don't know. That's off topic. Let's talk about this article. Microsoft's Xbox platform has more support from Japanese developers than ever. Xbox Play Anywhere is seemingly catching on with developers at an increasing pace. I love the Play Anywhere program. That's one of my favorite things about the Xbox platform as a whole. Zelda on PS7? Possibly. Doubtful, but possibly. I say nothing is impossible, basically. But Xbox Play Anywhere is seemingly catching on with developers at an increasing pace, and the Xbox Ally PC gaming handheld is sold out in many core markets. The Xbox platform is evolving to encompass PC gaming, cloud gaming, and traditional console gaming too. But that latter point has left fans wondering exactly what the next-gen Xbox might even look like. Combined with public statements and information from our sources, the form the next Xbox will take is starting to come into view. Here's what you need to know and prepare for the coming years ahead. This might be a longer article, I don't know. What we know, next-gen Xbox from Microsoft will be a curated Windows gaming PC, complete with your full native console library. CEO Phil Spencer has been teasing for years what next-gen will look like for Xbox, as people wondered exactly how this strategy might pan out. Last week, Phil Spencer said that people should look to the Xbox Ally for an idea of where Xbox is headed, and we spoke to our trusted sources over the weekend to learn a bit more about what that means. As many of us have come to expect, the next Xbox will indeed run full-bore Windows with a TV-optimized console-style experience layered on top. It's kind of what we've been talking about. We're looking forward to that. Microsoft decided to sideline its own Xbox handheld plans and go to market with the Xbox Ally in partnership with Asus this year to start gathering feedback on the experience that will essentially power its next wave of console hardware. I'm told Microsoft still plans to make its own Xbox handheld eventually too, along the lines of this new plan. Xbox President Sarah Bond has teased a variety of first-party Xbox hardware made in partnership with AMD. What will all this look like, though? Let's see. Indeed, the Xbox Ally and Ally X with its Xbox full-screen experience is essentially what the next Xbox will look like. Yeah, it's kind of what's expected. You know, I'm wondering if they're going to go the Switch route and it'll be a hybrid console, or if we'll get a dedicated, like, Pro console, Elite console, whatever names they want to put on it, that doesn't have a screen, and then you can get a lower powered hybrid approach that runs games. It's basically the Ally X, just more gamery, I suppose. I don't know. It's not dissimilar to the SteamOS interface and big picture mode, which allows you to exit out into full Linux at will. I mean, yeah, that's essentially what they're doing. Similarly, the Xbox full screen experience will allow you to exit out to full Windows if you want to, and run competing stores like Steam, Epic Games Store, Microsoft's own Battle.net, the Riot client, and indeed anything else you want to. Indeed, you could run Adobe or Microsoft Office on the next Xbox if you so choose. Where the Xbox console will differ from a traditional Windows PC is that it will feel like a traditional Xbox console out of the box. The onboarding experience will be similar to what you get today on console, and if you choose, you can remain fully inside the Xbox ecosystem, never touching Windows itself. Exiting out to Windows will be for those who want to access games traditionally not available on Xbox, including PlayStation games on Steam. Weird. Hey, thanks for the sub. It's not supposed to be doing that. Streamlabs has decided to go rogue on the notifications, but thank you so much for the resub, Will. Also appreciate the work, Lurk. Let's see. Where were we? Reading is hard. Alright, let's see. Exiting out to Windows will be for those who want to access games traditionally not available on Xbox, including PlayStation games on Steam, mouse and keyboard first games like League of Legends, and even classic games from GOG and the like. What's up, Brent? Good to see you. This is what we were talking about on the Gaming Roundtable. Every time the next Xbox has come up, we've talked about the Xbox OS kind of experience, quote unquote. And that's what this is. The fact that it's full Windows is kind of concerning, but, you know, like, it is what it is. I guess as long as it's optimized. And that's where I guess the Ally comes into play. If the Ally does well enough running Windows, and that full screen experience can be used across a bunch of different devices just to get metrics and feedback, because Windows 11 tracks pretty much everything you do anyway, they'll have enough data to build out that full screen experience to be even better than what it is right now. And it's pretty good from what I hear. I don't have an Ally or a handheld PC. I'm wondering if I should change that, but I don't know. Alright, so he goes on to say you'll be able to run PlayStation's PC titles like God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, and Spider-Man on the next Xbox, purchased via Steam or Epic Games. You'll be able to play World of Warcraft on the next Xbox via Battle.net. You'll also be able to install practically any game that runs on Windows, giving you access to decades upon decades of content all on a single device. That's what I've been wanting since before this Xbox came out. With the tail end of the Xbox One generation, I was really hoping that the next Xbox would go ahead and move in that direction. And we didn't see it this time. But the dedicated hardware space, I think, is doomed. Supersonic, hello, good morning, welcome to the stream. Microsoft is working hard across the Xbox and Windows teams to optimize the platform for TVs and controllers, bringing the original Windows in the living room vision from the OG Xbox to fruition after 25 years. Furthermore, thanks to new silicon from AMD, already approved all the way up to CFO Amy Hood and CEO Satya Nadella, the new Xbox will also run all games currently available on the Xbox Series X and S library. This means all the OG Xbox back-compatible games, all the 360 games, all the Xbox One games, and all the current and future Xbox Series X and S games. These games will run natively on the new Xbox and launch seamlessly via the Xbox Launcher's library. This is what we were hoping for kind of when the Ally launched. I feel like these plans got delayed and some things just had to happen no matter what. But this is what I was hoping to see from the Ally and eventually in the PC space. How can I run my Xbox purchased games, those exclusive hardware games that don't have Xbox Play Anywhere? What kind of environment could they run in? Well, now it looks like, if it's dedicated hardware, then it's dedicated hardware. Like any new console generation, developers will likely continue supporting the Xbox Series X and S development environment for several years after the new Xbox drops in. Over time, more and more games will get next-gen Xbox native versions too, targeting the specific configuration therein. AI-powered technologies like auto super resolution and next-gen frame generation will boost Xbox games running on the new hardware, but developers will also have the option to target the new box directly with Xbox Play Anywhere versions and Xbox's smart delivery tech. New technology Microsoft is developing alongside the fixed nature of the hardware should eliminate a lot of the inconveniences that sometimes come with PC gaming. Things like compiling shaders, etc. shouldn't be an issue on the new Xbox, for example. Microsoft is also working on additional ways to reduce Windows overheads to the benefit of all PC gamers, Xbox or not. If they can nail it, I'll be here for it. You know, if we can reduce everything needed to run live streaming and gaming and anything else, and really like target specific use cases. One thing they could do is turn off all the blasted telemetry that they are capturing on Windows 11. That would free up some CPU resources and GPU resources, I'm sure. I'm a little salty about how much Windows just tracks everything we do. All right, so here's the speculation part. What happens to Xbox Game Pass and PC Game Pass in this scenario? How much will all this cost? One question that's still being worked out at Microsoft revolves around Xbox Game Pass. Right now, PC Game Pass gets all day one Xbox games, including Call of Duty, for much cheaper than Xbox Game Pass Ultimate on console. If the next Xbox is a PC, am I supposed to be using PC Game Pass instead of Game Pass Ultimate? Right now, I'm told the current plan is for the next Xbox specifically to have no paywall for multiplayer. Bring those walls down. PlayStation would be forced. Nintendo may do it at their own pace, but PlayStation would almost immediately be forced to open up multiplayer and make PlayStation Plus a game subscription service like Game Pass. Because remember, PlayStation Plus only came about because Xbox was also charging for multiplayer, and PlayStation was like, hey, we could too. Alright, so anyway, he goes on to say, let's see, where did they say it? Right? Paywall for multiplayer would make a lick of sense for a PC to have paid multiplayer, particularly since it would create a strong incentive for players to simply install Steam instead of use the Xbox ecosystem on that device for online games. It remains to be seen if that plan actually plays out into reality, though. He says, what I expect we could see is PC Game Pass being rebranded somehow on the Xbox Game Pass website. PC Game Pass is de-emphasized and almost hidden away underneath the three main tiers. Wouldn't be surprised if we see this deprecated in the future, given the Xbox Game Pass Standard and Premium both now include some PC games. The idea of a per-device Game Pass doesn't make a huge amount of sense in a universe where Xbox console and PC merge. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. That is something I also agree with. Like, why? Like, it'll just be Game Pass. It'll just be Xbox Game Pass, and it'll work everywhere. That should be the goal. Alright, what about the price? Xbox President Sarah Bond warned recently that the next Xbox would be a premium experience, likely hinting at higher than usual price. In theory, the next Xbox should still be cheaper than buying the equivalently powerful gaming PC. Economies of scale and bulk purchasing deals with AMD and others will help drive costs down, buoyed by the fact that Microsoft doesn't have to pay itself for the Windows license. Microsoft's front-loading of the Xbox ecosystem also helps to subsidize cost to some degree. Despite the box being open to other stores, most casual gamers will still remain in the Xbox ecosystem for most of their play and purchases, which makes sense. Nice, Zeke. Alright, many of the biggest games on Xbox today, such as Fortnite, Roblox, and Minecraft, aren't on Steam and likely aren't headed there in the near future. You can expect Battle.net games like World of Warcraft also to head natively to Xbox in the future as well. Despite being available on Steam, the vast majority of Diablo and Overwatch PC players still prefer Battle.net. I mean, you stick with what you're familiar with. I think that's why people stuck it out with PlayStation for so long, and why their consoles continue to sell really well. Whereas Xbox, mixed messaging and lackluster games, like it's not consistent. Whereas PlayStation consistently has been good, forever. You know, Xbox, hit or miss every generation. Then it talks about Microsoft offering developers a more preferential rate on its PC store, 12% compared to Steam's 30%. Told this to remain in place for developers building games for the Xbox PC ecosystem, adding a powerful incentive for publishers to support competition in that space. However, that likely reduces the amount of subsidizing Microsoft would have traditionally done for its own hardware. So he concludes with a risky strategy with a huge potential payoff if executed well, which I don't know, I'm not going to cover this part, but basically, yes, if they can make a PC that runs Xbox games natively, and I'm not talking about PC versions of Xbox games, but just the Xbox app version of the game, you can get your longtime customers to move to the next hardware and then convert them on PC downloads and Game Pass subscriptions. But also, like, Steam and Epic Game Store running on my Xbox would be wild. But I want that. I want it all at the same time. I want one box that does it all. And the PC is that box. Like, I'm not saying it's not. It's just the experience really needs some work. And if we're close to optimization, to where it's feasible, which the Ally and the Ally X are the, I guess, test bed for that, I would like to see. I wonder if I could do it myself, install the Xbox full screen experience on my PC and see how it runs games. I don't know that it would work, but I would want to try, Oh, Dan. Rip. But this is the ideal, and I hope this is what it comes down to. Because I mean, like, we're gonna talk about Halo in just a minute, but like this is like the best case scenario. Hopefully this is what happens. But I've spent so much of the episode on this article, we're gonna have to move quick, but let's talk about Halo. Starting with a trailer. Maybe. Oh yeah, I'm getting flagged for this one, for sure.
According to the data in their networks, the ring has some kind of deep religious significance. They call it Halo. They believe that Halo is some kind of weapon.
What sort of weapon is it?
One with unimaginable power.
It looks so good. I'm so pumped for this.
Chief, you gotta find the cartographer. We'll keep him busy as long as we can.
Fire Team Charlie, we're on our way.
Touchdown! Hit it, Marines!
That looks so good. I don't know if you guys watched this weekend at all, but
The Covenant are putting up a real fight. The cartographer must be here.
Lock and roll, rock and roll.
Give them hell, Chief.
Alright, so there's our reveal trailer. Right? Like, this looks great. I love the OG Halo campaign a lot. It's one of my favorite games of all time. The subsequent games, you can like them, you can dislike them, but I think the first Halo did something at the time truly unique, in terms of storytelling and in gameplay, which, most games in that era were, they had decent gameplay, but the story kind of sucked, or they could have a good story, but the gameplay, you would have just rather watched the cutscenes. And I think Halo blended both very well. I also always appreciated how through even Halo 3, Bungie put all of their cutscenes in engine, so there was no like jarring, like really cool cinematic, and then you jump into the game, right? So I'm hoping this continues that, and we don't get. It looks like it. It looks like they went, hey, we want to make Halo, but with new tools. It's gonna be, I don't know, it's gonna be good. Now, a lot of people are upset because, hey, this is a PlayStation 5 logo. It's coming to PlayStation. And that's not a spoiler. They really are emphasizing this is going everywhere. So the Xbox Wire article, which we'll jump into, Halo Campaign Evolved is a full remake of the Halo Combat Evolved campaign, coming next year to Xbox PC, Steam, PlayStation 5. Supports cloud gaming and Xbox Play Anywhere and arrives day one with Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass. Fully rebuilt campaign will introduce remastered 4K visuals, beloved Halo weapons and vehicles, plus brand new story content. They spoke to key leads, so they talk about this like gives us like the highlights, right? Back to where it all began, how Campaign Evolved preserved the Halo spirit, and then how will Campaign Evolved update existing missions? Well, they've added 4-player co-op, so they've talked about having to size up everything, and then like to make room on existing maps for 4 players, so your encounters make more sense. And then they're doing splits. They're keeping split screen co-op, 2 players. I'm so pumped for that. Now remains to be seen, right? I need the game in my hands. I need to load it up, and I need to see split screen personally, because the fact of the matter is, the last time they promised to keep split screen in Halo, it didn't pan out. They canceled it instead, and so I'm interested. Deadshot, it's not going to top Reach. I don't know. It could. It very well could. Just being on PlayStation will mean numbers are going to be huge, but the multiplayer component does not look like it exists at all, right? So I don't even think they talk about it, because this is just campaign. So what does that mean for multiplayer? Well, we really don't know. I didn't really want to read through the whole article, because that's a lot of words, and I'm not going to read them. But I wanted to hit some of the highlights. The new elements Halo Studios is adding to the original. You'll be able to wield 9 additional iconic weapons from across the Halo series inside Halo, inside the campaign. I'm confused with the naming here. You'll get the energy sword, battle rifle, needle rifle, which I loved in Halo Reach. Some new weapons we're bringing in could be used against you in Halo Combat Evolved by the enemy, but you weren't able to pick them up yourself. Now you can. I guess that means the fuel rod cannon is back as well. Players can look forward to 2 firsts for the campaign. You can now hijack vehicles and even pilot the Covenant Wraith tank for the first time in Halo Combat Evolved. Now, I used to do the hacks and stuff. I had some modified saved files that you could pilot the Wraith, and it was goofy as all get out. Will this make me get a PS5 Pro? Not at all. Not at all. Now, I might pick up the game on PS5 just because Halo on PlayStation is weird, and I'm all for weird, unusual things happening. But we knew this was coming. Like, this is like one of the worst kept secrets in... hey, thanks for the gift, RK. I don't know why the feed isn't showing me that, but I appreciate it. Good morning. I'm wondering why that's broken. Hold on, this is gonna pop up. It's gonna be awkward. It just says comments off. There it goes. Appreciate it. All right. Anyway, will the best console version of this be on Sony? Dude, that's a good question. I don't think so. I think the Series X will edge it out just because native development. But hey, we'll see the Digital Foundry breakdown. All right, perhaps the most exciting, the team has added 3 brand new prequel missions set before the events of Halo Combat Evolved, which introduce entirely new environments, characters, and enemies, which we'll find more about very soon. Oh, and you can sprint now if you'd like, or disable it if you don't. So they've added sprint, weapons, skulls. I kind of skipped over that, but skulls are back. Skulls were like cheats. That was their way of doing cheats, and I loved them. They were hilarious and great. New missions. So it's cool. Using Unreal Engine 5, fantastic, great idea. You know, they give us a little slider to compare. Why is it so laggy? I don't know. I think they're gonna do a good job with this. This is Halo. Okay, so the comparisons are gonna be through the roof, but Halo Anniversary was the like skinned over Halo treatment that we got, where it was brought up to full HD, new textures, new skins for everything. It looked really good, but it was basically just Halo 1, whereas now they're rebuilding it from the ground up. But Halo Anniversary was 343 Industries, which is the former name of Halo Studios, first like project once Bungie departed Microsoft. And those that stayed and formed 343 at Microsoft were working on Halo Anniversary as their first project. So it's kind of weird that Halo Studios' first project is also Halo 1 related, Halo Combat Evolved related, but this time they're rebuilding from the ground up instead of just skinning over the basic game. And I think that's a better idea. Still wondering if Master Chief Collection would come to PlayStation though. Because like I'm excited for this game. I think this is gonna be great. But would Master Chief Collection come to PlayStation to give people like the full story? Or are they gonna do, I really hope they don't, but would they do remakes of like the first 3 games and then re-release 4 and 5 and maybe Infinite on their own? I don't know. That's such a weird proposition. I think this will be like Metroid Prime Remastered, where we just get the full game and then the next Halo is going to come out, and that's just going to be where we are going forward, and it's not going to matter what happened in between. They don't even want you to know. They don't give you the opportunity to know. If you want to know, you buy an Xbox or a PC and play those older Halo games that way, right? But if you only have a PlayStation, this is great. I think it's a good approach. I'm very excited by the visuals. It looks good the way they're talking about it. You know, there's not like weird wording around how they built this game, or there's not like avoiding questions. The lack of multiplayer is a little concerning, because the multiplayer experience kind of put Halo on the map. But maybe that's Halo Infinite, the multiplayer side, getting a re-release of some sort, or some kind of other live service Halo approach. I don't know. But we have a couple more articles about this as well. No, just that's it on Halo. It's cool. I'm excited for it. It's gonna be a really good release. All right, let's talk about Xbox though, because why is Master Chief on PlayStation now? Why are all these games going to PlayStation? Well, according to Matt Booty, Xbox's biggest competition isn't another console, but TikTok and movies. So Xbox Studios boss has claimed Microsoft no longer sees other consoles as its biggest competition. The president of Xbox Game Content and Studios discussed the gaming division's multi-platform strategy in an interview with the New York Times, published to coincide with the news that Xbox's historical flagship franchise Halo is coming to PlayStation for the first time. Commenting on the decision, Booty claimed consumers no longer have a strong attachment to the devices they use to play games. This guy does not read X or Reddit posts at all. We're all seeking to meet people where they are, he said. Our biggest competition isn't another console. We're competing more and more with everything from TikTok to movies. In the same interview, Booty briefly commented on the 9,000 company layoffs earlier this year, which saw the cancellation of numerous games and the closure of the initiative. The layoffs are difficult. They're part of managing our business. Cold and unfeeling. Very corporate of you. Xbox's multi-platform shift comes as Xbox continues to evolve its business in the wake of lower than expected console sales. PS5 is estimated to have outsold Series consoles 2-1, with a continued focus on its Game Pass subscription service at the expense of some traditional premium game sales. Xbox's shift to multi-format releases started in early 2024, when Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer announced just 4 games from its first-party lineup would be coming to rival platforms, claiming that the ports were not a change to Xbox's fundamental exclusivity strategy. Oh, how wrong he was, and how he knew probably that wasn't a true statement and should have said literally anything else. So weird. However, since then, the floodgates have opened with numerous other former Xbox console exclusives making their way over to PlayStation, including Indiana Jones, Forza Horizon 5, and Gears of War Reloaded earlier this month. Xbox President Sarah Bond called the idea of exclusives antiquated, which brings me to the next article we're going to talk about. Xbox boss believes Sony's strategy of console exclusives is antiquated. This one comes from Push Square, which I don't use very often, but this came up. Xbox fans against the organization's multi-format strategy may want to close their eyes now, as boss Sarah Bond is signaling her company has no plans to explore exclusivity again. In an interview with Mashable, she pointed out that all the biggest games in the world are available everywhere, and the concept of exclusivity is becoming antiquated. All right, so let's see. The biggest games in the world are available everywhere. You look at Call of Duty, Minecraft, Fortnite, Roblox. That's really what's driving community in gaming. That's where people gather and have experience. So the idea of locking it to one store or one device is antiquated for most people. You want to be able to play with your friends anywhere, regardless of what device they're on. Okay, in full, if that's the full quote, that makes sense, right? For years, as a kid, I wanted to be able to play games with friends who were on PlayStation, but we couldn't. We couldn't play online together because I was an Xbox kid, and I would get PlayStation for single player games. As an adult, and now it's like remove all the friction. How can my kid play with his or her friends, and how can how can I as an adult play with my friends who have moved on and may not even care that much about gaming? They just pick up a new device every so often. So again, if it's about removing friction, totally get it. Let's make it easier and easier to just fire up and play games. I love that approach. I really do. It's just a bummer to see Xbox go down the route that they've gone, because it's trashed a lot of community trust. Right? Like, yes, I like this approach. Yes, it's good, hopefully, for gaming long term, especially the studios making these games. But the way that they've done this is kind of lie and mislead repeatedly, and I that's frustrating. That's as an Xbox fan, as a consumer, as a guy who makes news videos about video game stuff, it is frustrating to go and report on, hey, this is happening, and we talk about it, and it's like, oh, well, they lied, and I had full confidence in the statement as it was, but now, do I trust this statement? Is that what they really want? They want gaming everywhere? Like, no, I don't know. I guess it just remains to be seen, right? The proofs in what they put out. All right, so Shinobi tweeted on X, exclusive games are antiquated, says Xbox President Sarah Bond. Seeing people evolve way past locking down to one device or one store. Biggest games in the world are available everywhere. Fortnite, COD, Roblox, etc. It talks about obviously seeing how Sony's brought Helldivers 2 to the Xbox after its breakout success on PS5 and PC last year. So clearly the PlayStation maker is somewhat on the same page. And I think that's the other side of the coin with this. We got Helldivers 2 on Xbox. It sold fairly well, I would believe. It runs well. It's fun to play. I wish I could play it more. I just haven't had really the time or the people to play with when I'm available to play, right? But that's kind of the thing. Like, if you want your game to be successful, locking it to one piece of hardware isn't the way to do it now, because there's a bunch of other people who aren't going to buy another piece of hardware. They're going to just stick with what they have. It's like Android and an iPhone here in the United States, right? If you have an iPhone, you're likely going to buy a new iPhone. If you have an Android, you're going to stick with Android. You're probably buying Samsung Galaxy phones, and you're just going to stick with that. You're going to stick with what's familiar. And from that perspective, yeah, if I can buy the next gen console and not worry about exclusives, I'm probably buying a PlayStation. But if the next Xbox is a PC, then I'll buy the next Xbox, because it will get PlayStation games eventually, and I might actually have more time to play through all of these blasted games that I just keep buying and putting in my backlog and never playing, right? Like, that's the challenge, I think. It's just, I don't know. People upset by this could be upset. Calling exclusives antiquated isn't wrong. Square Enix kind of sees this. However, there is some pushback on this. It's not for me, but some pushback. Well, I got my tabs out of order. Here we go. And then we'll talk about the console war being over from GameStop and all the funniness that come from that. Ex-Blizzard president responds to Sarah Bond directly. He says, go tell Nintendo. Nintendo's continually dominated with outstanding games. And we talked about this at the beginning. Nintendo is basically the Disney of the gaming world. Xbox making headlines. The news Halo campaign evolved to be making its way to PS5 in addition to Xbox Series X and S. Halo had always seemed like the last bastion of exclusivity for Microsoft's platform, and now that it's going multi-platform in 26, it really seems like all bets are off. To really drive the point home, Xbox President Sarah Bond said that exclusives are antiquated. Not everyone agrees, of course, and ex-Blizzard President Mike Ibarra is seemingly quite against the idea. In a post on social media, he simply said, "Someone go tell Nintendo that exclusives are antiquated." When another user challenged this statement, Ibarra doubled down and explained that Nintendo has thrived on console exclusivity, deeming the company's strategy of risk and return a big success. Xbox has recently reiterated its support for Switch 2, with CEO of Microsoft Gaming Phil Spencer stating that if there are people who want to play our games on the PlayStation 5 or the Switch 2, we would love for them to play our games on those platforms. And then, curiously, Campaign Evolved New Halo hasn't been confirmed for Switch 2 at the time of writing, but we know Nintendo likes to keep these kind of announcements to itself in direct presentations. That's not to say it will happen, but we honestly wouldn't be surprised at this point. I would be surprised if Halo does not come to the Switch as well. That's a huge missed opportunity, I think. All right. So anyway, there was pushback on that, and he's not totally wrong. Nintendo does thrive on exclusivity. I just think, like the rest of the industry, no matter what Nintendo is doing on their own, and they can continue to do their own thing, I think they've got the brand recognition and the IP backlog that they could do it and they would be fine. I just think generationally the overall sales will start to go down, because at this point, what is there to do as far as experiences go that would be wildly different from what we could do? Like, we've already seen motion controls and stuff kind of perfected. Started with the Wii, somewhat with the Wii U, and then now we have motion controls kind of baked in on PlayStation and Switch. You know, we've got the hybrid console. It can go handheld or docked and perform well enough and deliver high quality experiences, graphically appealing modern gaming experiences on the Switch hardware. However, what is the next thing? Well, I guess Nintendo would have to figure that out, but it just kind of seems like gaming's getting locked into this kind of standardized format where the hardware is less and less relevant and it's all about software, which years ago people have been saying it's all about software. This has been a decade-long thing. It's just traditionally the hardware was custom designed because it had to be, and now everything's so standardized that we're seeing kind of PlayStation, Xbox, and PC coalesce into this one thing because it's all the same anyway, right? And Nintendo, again, they're going to continue doing their own thing. I just think there might be a point in a generation or two where that becomes less and less of a selling point for them, or a marketing point for them. I don't know. I may be off base, but we're talking at least, at least 16 to 20 years from now, depending on how long generations last. I don't know. Like, they could just start dropping a new Xbox every 2 years or every year, be like an iPhone. I would not be happy with that approach, but they could. It's kind of what they did with the Surface, I guess. Every couple years we got a new one. Anyway, all right, moving on. GameStop declared an end to the console wars, because I guess they have the authority to do that. I don't know, but this was a statement. GameStop declares the console wars over, whereas for the past 2 decades, global gaming community has been engaged in ongoing and increasingly petty conflict known as the console wars. Said conflict originated in the early 2000s with the release of Halo Combat Evolved as an Xbox exclusive title. That's not true. We were fighting over Sonic and Mario being better than each other back in the day. Sega does what Nintendo don't. Yeah, there's all that. Nintendo is what Genesis isn't. I don't think that was an actual response. It was just a funny thing I read one time. But you had all that. We had console warring back in the 90s. Don't act like it's just a new millennium thing. Anyway, Halo Campaign Evolved is officially coming to PlayStation in 2026 with cross-platform play. Therefore, GameStop, acting under its authority as a neutral entity and the world's retail gaming and trade-in destination, hereby declares the official cessation of the console wars. All claims to exclusivity are hereby dissolved. Console loyalists are instructed to cease hostilities, disband militias, and enjoy this new era of gaming. GameStop will continue to operate as a demilitarized zone, offering hardware, accessories, and trade-ins to its combatants on all sides. Hilarious. But I think political affiliation for anyone watching aside, and you really got to like just separate yourself from politics. It's not a way to identify yourself as a human being. We have a once in a lifetime presidency administration in the United States that knows how to meme, and meme they do, because the official White House account responded to GameStop's post with an AI picture of Donald Trump in Master Chief armor in front of the White House. Says power to the players. And yes, this is very much AI because there's not enough stars on the flag, and the energy sword in Halo, it does not have a little handle protruding out of the back like this. But I love this. I love that an official government account would post AI art. If any country had done this, it would have been just as funny. If any administration in history had done something like this, it would have been just as funny as this is right now. Because somebody spent time doing this, and I love it. I love a good sense of humor. Oh my gosh, Sword and Crossbow coming in with the raid. Welcome in, dude. Good morning. Raid alerts are not on. Maybe, I don't know. I'm doing game news, so we don't normally acknowledge big alerts, but good lord, bringing a party of 8 in. Thank you so much for that raid, Sword. Good to see you. We're talking game news this morning. Master Chief going to PlayStation. Why Microsoft is making such weird decisions with the gaming world. And the White House tweeting a picture of Donald Trump in Master Chief armor. We were just looking at this. This is an actual White House. Like, this is government record. This is a thing. Nah, dude, do not feel bad. Thank you so much for the raid. I gotta figure out how best to handle that. But like, this is going to be an official government record. Donald Trump in Master Chief armor. Like, I love how like surreal all of this starts to feel at a certain point. All right, we got a couple more articles to push through, and then we'll be wrapping it up. So, to answer the question, I guess, why is Halo on PlayStation next year? Why has Microsoft kind of been putting games on every possible platform that they can? Well, this is the answer. This is from Bloomberg. Microsoft pushes Xbox division to hit higher profit margins. Management's goal of 30% profit margins for gaming has led to job losses and canceled projects. 30% profit margins. Now, I'm not an economics guy, not really a numbers guy. 30% profit margins is a lot. I know that much because everybody else operates at like a 17 to 20%. Money! Not as big business do anything. Money! I think this goal, and I have not looked into this article much, but I think this 30% goal only exists because of the 70 billion spent on Activision. There are a lot of shareholders at Microsoft who were like, hey, this needs to make more money. And so that's where the demand has come from. So let's just trust Bloomberg AI here. And if I'm wrong, if any of this is wrong, comment and let me know how wrong I am. But Microsoft Corp is asking its Xbox gaming division to produce profit margins of 30%. 30% accountability margins, a term the company uses in lieu of profit margins. Oh my gosh, they make up their own economics terms. The gaming division has responded to the new goal by canceling products, raising prices, and slashing thousands of jobs, according to people familiar with the business. Okay, what the AI missed is that at the same time that they have gone, hey, we're firing people, they have also gone record profits, record revenue, record engagement. I don't know how you can break records and go, we gotta fire everybody. Anyway, sorry, I'm angry. The new target was implemented by Microsoft Chief Financial Officer Amy Hood and has impacted strategies under Microsoft gaming chief Phil Spencer, with games that are cheap to make are likely to generate significant revenue, taking priority over riskier bets. Well, that's gaming in a whole, as a whole right now. Like, that, all of gaming is suffering from no longer taking risks and just making sequels or remakes. Again, as excited as I am about Halo Campaign Evolved, we could be getting a new Halo game, and we will be, but first they had to remake Halo 1, because remakes make a ton of money. So Microsoft is asking his Xbox gaming division to produce profit margins that are well above industry average. Yeah, so looking at that, that's kind of gives us our big picture. You know, this is why Perfect Dark got canceled. This is why they've been putting every game on PlayStation and some of the games on Switch too. You know, yeah, they need to recoup the purchase, but here's the thing, Dan. Here's the thing. Investing in a company, buying stocks or things, it shouldn't be a short-term game, but it has become one. And so spending $70 billion is not a short-term purchase strategy. So wanting those short-term returns is a little odd. You know, I just, maybe I'm wrong and I'm outdated. Maybe I'm antiquated in my thinking here, but I think the short-term, younger investors are wanting quicker returns in an industry that does not move quickly in that regard. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Xbox is done. No, Xbox is not done. It's just not what it is. Not what it has been. There are 2 more Halo projects in work. Yes, we know more Halo is coming, but we had to do the remake first because that was the safer bet. Yeah, it is high risk and high reward. But what we're seeing is the short-term drive decisions that affect the long-term. And that's not okay. That's where I'm at. It's just weird. I don't think Xbox is done. I think if their next console, as we started at the beginning of this episode, if the next console is a PC with an Xbox mode, perfect. They'll stay relevant. I'll still be able to access all my digital purchases on the Xbox store. You know, and then that'll be the box I buy over buying everything. I'll buy a Switch and an Xbox PC monstrosity. I don't know what it'd be called. I just hope it looks better than the monolith Series X. It's an industry changing and trying to find its way since COVID, and how Fortnite controlled the entire sector for so long. No, that's absolutely true. 100%. Gamers are changing in what they want, because us old guys are doing things traditionally the way we've always done it, and our kids and generations after are engaging with games very differently. You know, they are growing up with Fortnite as the game they play, or Roblox, or Minecraft, and you're playing games within there, or doing things within there, and you're not... I was always looking forward to the next game, you know, just like we look forward to the next movie or the next TV show. Now it's what updates are coming to my existing game, right? And it's a hard thing to beat, because we're still getting new games. We get new games at a record pace now. It's crazy to think about. I have one more article to cover to move on from Xbox a little bit. Well, actually, a lot of bit. We're changing entirely. Gamers changing what they want. These companies have to predict what we want 3 years ahead of time. It's fair. So when they fail, it's a failure from a decision they made a number of years ago. No, it's very true. It's very true. It's hard to pivot quickly on those things. And it's hard to predict trends, especially in an era where unpredictability, like, things can change for people at the drop of a hat, and information moves so quickly that businesses cannot possibly keep up, right? Like, you find out trends and things so quickly now, but predicting what the next thing that we're going to engage with in is so difficult, because it could be literally anything at any given moment. Otherwise, they put out slop, which they've been doing for the last, 10 years or so. I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? Anyway, let's hit this last article. Pokemon Legends ZA sold 5.8 million copies globally in its first week, approximately half of the sales for Switch 2, which isn't surprising. Pokemon Company has announced Legends ZA has sold a total of 5.8 million copies worldwide in its first week. It includes the combined sales of Switch and Switch 2 physical releases, as well as digital downloads. According to the official press release, approximately half of these sales are for Switch 2. In comparison, Pokemon Legends Arceus sold 6.5 million copies worldwide in its first week. Yes, but that was a different time when Arceus dropped. When did Arceus release? But it did sell almost a full million copies more. Interesting. Close to 1.5 million copies of Pokemon Legends Z8 have reportedly been sold in Japan. Figures in this region supposedly beat Pokemon Legends Arceus opening week in this location by around 60,000 units. This follows UK chart data earlier this week, which saw ZA take out top spot in its first week. Additional data for this particular region revealed overall box sales of the new title were 40% lower than that of Legends Arceus, and 51% of sales in this location were for the Switch 2 version. So it's good that they're counting them both, and it's interesting to see the Switch 2 selling kind of on par with the Switch 1 version, given that the Switch 2 is still very new and not that many people have it just yet. But I guess that number is changing. But it's not all that surprising. I guess the overall sales numbers are kind of surprising with as ambitious and different as this game has been. I don't know, maybe the controversy has something to do with that, with how people are complaining about visuals or gameplay or whatever else is going on with it. I don't know. I'm enjoying the game. I hope it does well sales-wise. It's also very close to the holiday season, so that 5.8 million is mostly probably adults that were playing the game right now. A few of that are people buying it for the holidays to, get a leg up on Christmas shopping, but I think we'll see those sales go up through the holidays. Hang on one second, guys. I'm trying not to die for some reason. We've been talking for an hour, so I guess that's what happens. When I stream, when I stream like a game, I get quiet, and so my voice keeps up. But today, it's like, no, you've been talking a lot. But anyway. Alright, well, that's all the articles I've got. I've enjoyed chatting with you guys today. Sword, thanks again for the raid. Gotta work. See ya. Dan, thanks for coming by. I always enjoy seeing you in chat. Hope things are going well with you, man. We need to catch up at some point. If you're watching on any platform that supports it, hit the like button, subscribe or follow. Hit the dislike button if you didn't enjoy this or you don't like looking at my face. Let me know in the comments. I love you guys. We'll find somebody to raid and we will close it out. That does it for the Monday edition of the Game News Show. Again, Sword and Crossbow, thanks for the raid, dude. I appreciate it. I hope you're doing great. I haven't been able to raid you in a while. I don't see you on at the same times anymore. Let's see. Who are we sending this lovely community to this morning? Let's send it to... Send it to Chaotix PR. Dude's playing Legends ZA. Great dude. Entertaining streamer. Puts on a good show. May not be family friendly. Just a fair warning to anybody that cares about that. But I have to get to work now. So, love you guys. God bless. Have a great day. And I will see you guys on the flip side. Adios.